Deva Sutam Devam Amshachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagadguru. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Our salutation to Bhagavan Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the destroyer of the king demons, Kamsa and Chanura, dear darling of Ananda, mother, and the Guru of the whole entire universe. From peace, peace, peace be at rest. So, we are reading of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and we are in the chapter 5. It starts with a question. That question was from Shuka. The Shukadev said, and it is talking to Vidura, the greatest devotee of Sri Krishna. He said that Sri Shuka said, we are on the chapter 5, verse number 1. Questions about the creation and this universe and the glory of Bhagavan Krishna. So Sri Shuka, the eternally free spiritual soul, said to Vidura, the questioner, Vidura, who had attained great purity of mind by devotion to Krishna, being highly attracted by the adorable personality of Maitreya, approached that great center of spirituality at his residence in Haridwar and put to him the following question. So Sukha is narrating the story about what happened, the question, and Vidura and meeting the Guru or teacher Maitreya or sage Rishi, who is residing on the bank of Ganga in the Haridwar. So he put this question. Maitreya, approaching Maitreya, Vidura put this question. What the question? Question said, second verse. In this world, people do various actions. Sukhayo, karmani, karoti lokyo. In this world, people do various actions for happiness. From those, they neither get perfect happiness, but they do. But nate sukham anuda paramba bindeta. They don't have, neither get perfect happiness, nor they are able to get over all those conditions that produce unhappiness. So people are engaged in this way. The question is this, the whole world, everyone is in action. And in this world, people everyone is doing some work. And the purpose from this, we want to get happiness. But people don't get happiness. Neither they get happiness, nor they are able to get over all those conditions which produces unhappiness in our life. So we are doing some karma to overcome happiness, but it is not possible to do that, nor able to get over all conditions that are causing us unhappiness. On the other hand, from one set of actions, only a new cause of unhappiness are found to rise. You do one thing, think that it will bring good, and that brings some other dissatisfaction, unhappiness. Therefore, you, O Maitreya, you, an all-knowing person, should please tell us what is the best for us to do in life. Now, how we should live, what shall we do so that we don't get entangled into this unhappiness, or that eradicate the reasons for which our unhappiness will not be affecting us. Third verse. Misery is the fate of those, because he's a bhakta, so he says, the misery is the fate of those who, out of their evil deeds of the past, are indifferent to the worship of Krishna and consequently become unrighteous in conduct. People forget God. They are really unhappy people in the world. They cannot get perfect happiness because what they do, who those type of people who out of their evil deeds of the past, our samskar, bad karmas of the past, they are indifferent to God, indifferent to Krishna and to worship of Krishna. And consequently, naturally, we live in the world in an unrighteous manner in their conduct. So they cannot find peace. That means what is indicating that those who are dedicated to God, worship the person, they God, as Lord Krishna as God, or anyone. Now it is we are reading Bhagavatam, that's why Krishna. So unrighteousness takes possession of them. Those who are righteous person, they trust in God, they fear God, they don't behave wrongly because they are dedicated to purity. And so the question continues. It is for affording relief to such persons in misery that great devotees of the Lord like you, O Maitreya, you move about in this world. So you are moving around in this world because of that. O holiest of holy ones, tell us about the noble path by which those who worship the Lord and have their hearts purified by devotion get enlightenment and knowledge of the eternal truth, inspired by the Lord who resides within them. So, inspired the Lord who resides in the heart, they that noble path by which those worshippers of the Lord uh, can have their hearts purified by devotion, get enlightenment. How one can get enlightenment? Who are dedicated to God, please tell me. Tell us how the Bhagavan, who is ever free, God is ever free. God creates the universe, is not under anyone's control. But still, tell how the Bhagavan, the Ishvara, who is ever free and is the controller even of the Maya. By Maya, God creates this universe. He is the master of the Maya. So, being the master of the Maya, how he assumed forms as incarnations. How he becomes like a small person like Krishna, Rama. How he becomes like Ramakrishna, Chaitanya, Buddha. How he becomes the infinite God by his own Maya, but assumed as incarnations form, and how he, without any desire, he created this world. See, God has no desire. Then who creates this world? Why he creates? If he has no desire, why it is created? It's a mysterious thing. We have desire, that's why we do all the activities. We have a desire to have some, say, to see something, we go at one place. We have the idea of experiencing some sweetness, we eat something. But I have no desire, then why shall I do all these things? If I so it is this question is that God is self-willed. He has no need. But why he then takes a human form? And how he will take a form unless he has some desire? What is his desire then? And how the desire be? And how he brought about settled conditions in it with means of livelihood for everyone. Describe to us how he, the one existence, whose blessings even the greatest sage seek, enter into the created world and assumes diverse forms. See, it is Upanishad says that Satchidananda, that Brahman, he has entered into the universe by Maya. And this what you world you see, he has become this. So how it is possible? That's the question. Describe to us how he, what is he? One existence, that is Brahman, absolute. Describe to us how he, one existence, whose blessings even the greatest sages are seeking. The great saints and sages are seeking the blessings of God, no? How he himself enters into the created world and assumes diverse forms, and afterwards, at the time of dissolution, withdraws itself everything into the sky of his heart and remains without any modification. Everything comes from God, comes out of God, remains in the world as active world, and again withdraw. It is like every day we sleep. When you go to sleep, what happens? Your whole concept of this world, it's good, bad, happiness, misery, pleasure, pain. When you go to bed, what happens? All consumed within. Nothing is there when you are sleeping. But again, next morning when you wake up, from your mind it again comes out and you see the world. But when you are sleeping, this world vanishes for you. So God similarly creates the universe from Him and is displayed sometime. And when He wants, He withdraws everything within. That's why it's called God is the creator, sustainer, and destroyer. That's called the Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, three aspects. Creator, maintainer, or Vishnu, Narayana, and destroyer. He destroys it, Lord Shiva, the old to destroy. But all these three is Ishvara. It comes from one God. One God manifest in three ways and creating this universe, maintaining that and consuming it. But where does it come from? It comes from God, goes back to God. And this world universe then, what I am seeing now, I am seeing whom? I am seeing table, chair, man, woman. That is all God. But the question is that how that absolute one existence, that is called Satchidananda Brahman, become like this? How it is possible? The infinite has become like this. So this is the question. Please let me know. You are a great sage. Yeah, you are a seer of truth. Oh my truth, please tell us. In his various incarnations, when God comes down, he takes various forms, no? In every Rama incarnation, Krishna incarnation, thus avatar, we have in Hinduism 10 avatars. Matsavara, Puran, all these types of even human, subhuman, or uh, different manifestation, but it is all Ishvara manifesting, God manifesting. So in his various incarnations, why the incarnation? For the welfare of the world. What are the sportive actions that he enacted? So tell us how in Varaha Avatar God came down for the good of humanity, for the good of welfare of all. How he came in the Parashuram Avatar, what he did. So he's asking about all the incarnations when they came, how they came into existence, and how they uh, did the sportive divine play. Our mind is never satiated by hearing about the actions of that one of exceeding holiness. That means he's saying, I am a student of spirituality. I'm never tired of hearing talks, holy talks. Huh? Those who have nothing spiritual inside, they will not entertain any God talk. There is a story, no? There is Ramakrishna story. Ramakrishna story. There was one fisherman woman after selling the in the market was returning home, but her home was little distance. On the way, he was but maybe late for after winding and coming back to home. But it is becoming dark. So she thought that what shall I do? And on the way, she found one lady. She said, "Hey, you come, you can stay with me for tonight and tomorrow you can go." And she has a beautiful flower garden. And then they gave him to her to rest, but she was not getting rest. And she called the friend, garden lady, said that, "Oh, I am not getting rest. What has happened? I cannot bear this fragrance of the flowers. Better you bring my fish basket." And the fish basket was brought, and he sprinkled some water so that smell becomes strong. And she was so happy to sleep after keeping that basket near her head. That means she is familiar with the every day with the smell because all the time they work with the fish. So the fish smell appears common, but flower is a little sophisticated fragrance. She's not appreciative of that. That's why here it is said, our mind is never satiated hearing about the actions of that one exceeding holiness. I am now, I love the flowers fragrance so much that I am never tired of having better fragrance, higher fragrance. So God's words, listening to the holy life of the incarnation and their spiritual deeds, it satisfies, brings peace in my mind, joy in my mind. I want to know more. I want to hear more about God.
But this peace and joy that fisherwoman got, and the peace and joy that flower woman got, by quality they are the same. The path is the different. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter. The joy is the goal.
but that joy, but it is temporary joy and dependent joy. That's the problem. Every joy is good unless it is independent. Every joy is dependent, and dependent joy is short-lived joy. So we want joy, longer joy, and longer and longer and longer. Lastly, we want such joy which never goes away. So that is the difference only. Uh, Fisher, everyone is happy. The worms are happy with the dirty water. Uh, and so every creature is created to like one thing according to their sanskar tendencies. So tamasic tendency, rajasic or sattvic, tamas, rajas, sattva, and beyond. All are searching for joy. But this is the difference. We are not happy with any joy because it is time bound, it is short lived, it has its beginning, it has its end, and the reaction. Any joy, what? We eat good food, feast, all various items, some 20 items maybe. Say, just an example in a feast day. You take little, and you get, and after eating, what you do? Where is Hajmola? Where is some digestive way? And then, oh, let us go for a walk. Let us go for something. And you ate, you should enjoy. But enjoyment was in the tongue. And now the trouble comes in the stomach. Now you are gas, you cannot sleep, you cannot stand, you cannot do. So this is the problem of joy. It is joy. But would be anything reactionless afterwards. You think of God, you love God and dive deep. You'll be more and more and more saturated and no reaction. No question of losing that. But this is we lost. It tongue here and goes here, but it's gone. It's lost. Now the question of the whole body to digest that. All the tasteful food is tip of the tongue to the throat. Only this much time, so long it is there. And then it goes, it is a big struggle for the whole body system to digest that. This acid secretion, that, and that, indigestion, and this and that. Why? Because it is always coming little bit. Though joy is the same joy. What are those categories from primeval stuff of which the Supreme Lord formed the regions within the cosmic spheres? What are those categories of entities, of different spiritual entities? Dev Devata lives in different spheres. He's asking about what are those categories from the primeval stuff of which the Supreme Lord formed the regions within the cosmic spheres and the realms beyond, wherein are found all species of conscious beings, including the deities presiding over the various spheres. এই যে Durga Puja. Durga Puja time we are worshipping all gods and goddesses. Even we are worshipping the trees, the plants, earth. Even we are worshipping the what is called the rat, Bahana, Mushiko Bahana, the Ganesha. Ganesha you worship, but you cannot give up. You worship Ganesha only, and you will not worship the rat. That won't do. That is also God. Yesterday mantra, they were chanting the mantra. They're talking the Belur Math Puja. If you observe online, it's available now also. There, rat, the snake, the lion, the Ashura itself, he is a god also. So that is it. How different people live in different levels of mental state. Hmm. Gods and goddesses in higher planes, demons and what's called goblins, they live in different level. Human live in one level. So tell me how these different spheres are created and God has created and how different levels of spirit, many entities live there. Besides, describe also how the self-born creator Narayana, who created Narayana? If you say this world is created by God, then I will say, who created God? You cannot put that question. Who created God? Then means you say God's God, God's God. But in our relationship, yes, I am created by my mom and dad. What? Mahashakti. But where from my mom and dad born? Their parents. Where they are born? Their parents, and go. Ultimate, go. How far you can go? 14 generation, 100 generation. Then you go where? We come from one. And then you go, Achal, everything comes from God. But God comes from where? This question is called Maya. You cannot put that question. God created out of his own Maya. Who created God? He himself created. That's why it said that Satchidananda Brahman, by his own Maya, he makes it many. That's why Eko Aham Bhushamo. He was said that I am alone. Only. Alone means only. There is no one parallel. Eko Aham. Nasti Ditya Nasti. There is no one second. I, Mother Durga said, I am the only one in the whole universe. Who is parallel to me? So that is the one. But where do you come from one? I created myself. You created myself. How can you create myself? Yes, I have the power to recreate, create, manifest, unmanifest. That's called the Shakti. Power means Shakti. The dormant power. That's called Mahashakti. Great Shakti, Maya Shakti, Mahashakti, Mahamaya, all these names are given. So God created himself by his own power. Besides, describe also how the self-born creator, Narayana, Narayana, who is born by his own self. No one created Narayana. Brought about the differences in nature, how God, who is self created, he differences in the nature of action, forms, names, etc., of various creatures. I have heard many a times about the duties of the various orders in the society from the mouth of Vyasa. That means he said, I have heard that what are the duties of each level of people in the world. Enough of that. I no longer desire to hear anything concerning the worldly life. Therefore, I long to hear only about the excellence of the Lord. To see the genuine devotee, he says, I have heard enough of the world, I have seen the glories of the world, but these are all temporary, futile. I want to know about the glory of Bhagavan Krishna, the Lord Narayana, which will suit my heart. And I am not interested in it. People are interested, no? Every student you ask, what are you going to study? Some will say one subject, another will another subject, no? At the cost of others. Or I don't like other subjects. It is my most favorite subject. So what should be the most favorite subject of a spiritual person? God, only God. Because God can give us eternal joy. Anything you get, money. How long money can give joy? You earn money whole life and make a big bank balance, 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, even billion, even trillion. When you just leave the body, take one penny out of the bank account. You spend your whole life for beautification of your body and your beautification of everything. When you go, take one piece of hair with you, all to be deposited here. It got it here, it will remain. So what will you go with you? That love for God, that peace, that contentment. So that is the point. I am tired of all these things. I've seen all this. So I am not interested in that. I long to hear only about the excellence of the Lord. This is my only desire. I want to hear about God. He whom sages like you praise and worship in the satras. Satras mean in the puja, in the satra means the jagna. And Durga Puja time, people give some charity. So see, he whom the sages like you praise and worship in satras. What man would be what man what man would be satiated by hearing about him and his excellences, which entering through the ears of man completely erases his worldly tendencies, leading to repeated births and deaths. I want to hear about that. And the holy words of the Lord, if it enters into the ear and it transforms the mind and it becomes a pure, and that completely erases our all worldly desires and planning of the world and leading to that repeated desire which comes inside, that will go away by repeating the God's name. So, and the birth and death, we are always in the cycle of birth and death. This life is because of the last life's karma. Last life was before, because the previous life's karma. The karma is bringing us again and again. That karma, the cycle of karma, will be stopped together.
Isn't it like that? Not only Narayana created himself, we also create ourselves through our karma.
That she's saying that our karma, we are being in the circle. So I want to hear about your glory, God's glory. Tell me God's glories, so that I will never be born again. I will be living in the realm of the consciousness of the divine. So tell me, I want to listen. That's the question he's putting to Maitreya. Your friend Vyasa, too, desiring to describe the glories of the Lord, produced Mahabharata. There as a means to draw man's mind gradually to pure devotion, he has adopted the method of describing matters concerned connected with the worldly good of man at first. In the Mahabharata also they talk about the world and worldly development can be managed. Then Gita, our spiritual Vedic literature says that in the uh, early Vidya, there are two types of Vidya, secular and spiritual. They say, De Vidde Vedita Ve, Paracha Ivo Aparacha. There are two types of Vidya. One is secular knowledge and another is spiritual knowledge. Vedic time, there are two types of knowledge given to everyone. Why? Because by secular knowledge, you earn good money, you have good house, experience the life, and see that it does not fulfill your desire, then you turn to Paravidya, that knowledge, Para Jaya Tadaksharam Digammate. Paravidya is what? By which that imperishable divine state is achieved. Everything is perishable. You achieve anything by karma, that karma is, you can find, you are going, then if you find those two boys, call them. Just call them. So, so it is, then also Mahabharata also did the same thing. First they talked about the world and worldly development, how you can mature in worldly development. And the second is then turning towards God for the fulfillment. The mind of man who hears or reads about the excellences of the Lord with deep faith and attention will, along with the growth of devotion, cease to have attachment and attraction for worldly objects. This is a disease of ours, worldly attachment. We are attached to the worldly thoughts, not to God. And worldly thoughts, how much you attach, net result is dissatisfaction. After you get it, before you get, you live in anxiety. Shall I get it? I am trying to get it. If someone comes, you get angry in between the path. Suppose after so much struggle you get it. When you get a few moments will be of excitement. Then you'll think, no, 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 I don't want it. I wanted something more, something greater. A person earning money, say, I have a 100,000 job. I know one person, 100,000. He will be satisfied with 100,000 job. No, 150,000, 200,000. Okay, 500,000. Are you happy? Satisfied there? No. Go on. So to reach that point to get a job of 500,000 is not a matter of joke. But being there, they say, I have no time. I have no time for a second for me. I cannot sleep. I cannot do. And then after time, get exhausted and say, I got this, but I didn't expect. 5,000 dollar you are earning, but the anxieties, tensions, and all these things are going on. Then you say, I don't want it. Getting there, but you are dissatisfied still. So that's why it is said that the mind of man who hears or reads about the excellences of the Lord. On the contrary, if one hears about God, meditates on God, goes to Guru, get the mantra, practice spirituality, what happens? And listens to this Bhagavatam and holy text, it purifies the mind. And that's what happens. Deep faith and attention, if one hears this message, will, along with the growth of devotion, the love for God will grow inside and cease to have attachment and attraction for worldly objects. World is not bad. Money is not bad. The house is not bad. Good clothing, etc., is not bad. Attachment is the bad thing. When you get attached, you can be attached to a very something very petty. Ah, that attachment causes suffering. Attachment is that in the whole life you look at that. Wherever I am attached, there is my suffering. If you can detach, okay, let it be. Then you are free. Whenever we keep ourselves, now this will be this way, and I want it, and then and hang on, then you fight more. Accepting God. You get attached to God, aha, what a great life. Huh? Mirabai was attached to God. Mirabai was attached to God. She was a princess. Wealth, money, prosperity, all this does not mean anything to the heart, no? So it is, uh, that is why it is said that he who has developed that delight in the thought of the Lord, not only that, some feeling of joy, if one develops that joy, that feeling of joy, that I am thinking of God and I find joy inside. What a great life! That will free him from all attachment, and greater joy and more joy will come without any reaction. Reactionary joy is the worldly joy, and frustration comes afterwards. Many people, rich people, they suffer all through in depression and suppression. Ah, ah, so much wealth, so much thing, but where is the peace inside? So that's why if one can generate love for God and taste to hear, find interest in listening to holiness, the life and character of the holy uh, Krishna, Rama, or Avatar, or saintly life, they attain to the perfection. And they get who has developed delight in the thought of the Lord will be freed from all sorrows and suffering. If you want to get out of sorrows and suffering, this is the way, not the other way. That does not mean that you will not be in the world. Be in the world, but not of the world. Be in the boat, but not in the water. Water should be, a boat should be in the river, no? But river should not enter into the boat. So we live in the world, that world should not bother us inside. So to detach from that, that is called taste for God. So how the taste for God will come? Narada Bhakti Sutta says, Satsanga. When you go to the holy company, thinking of God, talking about God, mind becomes pure, and you see how many people, saints in the world, have got peace in the world. They have nothing in the material world as it were. But they are the most peaceful person in the world. I feel extremely sorry for people who, due to their own sin, have no opportunity to hear about the Lord's excellences. They have money, they have wealth, but they have no opportunity to hear about God. And now it is available everything. That's also look at that online. You go for YouTube and try to listen some talk or Bhagavat or Gita or Upanishad. Everything is available. All types of religious practices. No? But when one opens, what is the test? Where one person moves. One person moves for a movie, watching a movie. One person for the politics. One person for this material or sports and sports games and what not, all varied types of science, art, literature, books, novels, this, that, entertainment. But who goes for searching for God? And who finds, not only goes there, who finds joy in that? Those who are getting joy, they are fortunate. Their life has become purified little bit. Otherwise, taste will not go. You will not like God. God will be your disturbance. As some people come to Dakshineshwar when Ramakrishna was there, they could not even sit in the room of Ramakrishna when he is speaking such wonderful spiritual talks, but they have no interest. They could not, as fish basket. They will be happy in the fish basket, not in the flower garden. And that's why they suffer. The suffering goes on, life after life, uh, and endless attachment. So he says, I feel extremely sorry for the people. Maitreya is saying, I feel sorry for those people. Shankara also says, what a misfortune, getting this human body, uh, getting all this capacity to know who we are, who is in me, what is that consciousness, not knowing that, just live a life of ordinary life, birth and death, and suffering and misery, and disease and death. It's a very sad story. It's a lost case, as it were. So they are fortunate who, being in the body, having everything, loves God. Because they cannot see, because due to their sin, they have no opportunity to hear about the Lord's excellences. And all the more so for those who, in spite of such opportunity, are indifferent to it. Some people have no opportunity. There are people in the world, suppose they are living in such condition that there is no opportunity. Say you go to Afghanistan, live over there, and you try to hear about holy words. Where is holy words? Only rules, regulations, and uh, disciplines, and this and that. And there is no open scope for the women to come out, to go to school, to learn this, learn that, all this. But those who are having that opportunity, and that opportunity they don't use it, really uh, they are really to be repented upon. So some people don't get a chance. Some people chance is there, but don't take advantage of the chance. No? So this is an example here. See, this is the example. The class is going on. Opportunity is here to come and sit. People are around here, have no taste, does not feel attraction for this. It is really fire upon them, according to this book, that they're getting this opportunity, they don't take advantage of it. Why? Not to blame anyone. The bad karma in the mind, which drives them for more important. They feel it is more important other things rather than God. When you feel for God, then Ramakrishna said, when will you realize God? Well, when? Like the student went to a teacher and said, Sir, when shall I realize God? He didn't say anything. He took the student and took to the pond, pukur, and put him, just dipped him into the waters and holding his head under the water. And 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and he's now restless and he's just going to collapse. He released and he came up. What was your feeling? Oh, I was panting for breath. I was dying to have a breath. But when that type of thing will happen for God, then you will realize God. So this is really very surprising. We can watch our mind. One is good or bad in that way. This is the bad tendency. Which tendency is forcing me to go for other things more interesting? And if there is an opportunity also, we don't take the advantage of those opportunities. So that's why, more so for those who, in spite of such opportunity, are indifferent to it. The lifespan of such people who indulge in and talk of only worldly matters is consumed by unwinking spirit of time. Now our life will go away. The clicking of the clock does not stop for anyone, not for you, not for me, not for the holy, not for the unholy, not for the President of United States, not for the homeless guy. Time click, 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 click goes on. That's why he says the lifespan, our lifespan, allotted life, you are for 100 years, someone maybe 90 years, someone maybe whatever the lifespan of such people, but who indulge in and talking of only worldly matters. They find great joy. You bring politics, they're excited. They will he can go in fighting. Energy will come up when you talk about that. Each one has a subject, no? And that time you find he's fighting with it, he's arguing in this favor and this favor. But when it comes to talk about God, there's no interest in it. Oh, you go to the temple. Hmm. You are becoming spiritual. You don't come to our party, this weekend party. Most of the people cannot come because they say, I'm our weekend party. Uh, Party is important. How many party you did? How much joy you got it? How much peace you attained? Eh? And check if you go to a holy place and have little good tendency, then you will see what type of joy you can find inside. So lifespan will go away. That's why I say, who indulge in talk of on worldly matters is consumed by unwinking spirit of time. That spirit is unwinking. Spirit is always that life is going on, but time is clicking, 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 clicking. No one, time does not stop for anyone. So how do you utilize the time? In which way? Good way. In a good way where you get eternal peace, or you get engaged into whatever way you like. It is your freedom. God, don't we blame God, but it is not to be blamed. God is not to be blamed. God has given us equal opportunity every day. I am giving you 24 hours every day. And now you utilize which way? This Mother Durga Puja time. No, I know some of the people are doing Durga Puja 100,000 times repeating the name these 10 days. 100,000 times they are repeating Jai Sri Durga, Jai Sri Durga, Jai Ma Durga, Jai Sri Durga. Huh? They're utilizing the time. This day is 10 days. And we are also utilizing 10 days. If you ask how many times I thought of God, how many times I take the name of the Lord, count yourself, see how you have utilized the time and how others are utilizing. So it is the utilization of time. Their lives, if they do not use for the right cause and talk of worldly things, consumed in worldly time, their lives are indeed lived in vain. Because the life will go one day and death will knock at the door. Then you say, hey, come. Well, wait, I have something to do. And no, you have done enough. Whole life you have done. Now come with me. And where will you go? According to your thought, according to your action. Who is thinking of light, purity, they will go to the purer plane. Those who are thinking of dark thoughts and worldly thoughts, they will go to the worldly level. That's all. So where is the freedom? Where is the peace that is on one side? O friend of the afflicted, so describe to us the essence of his sanctifying deeds. His means God's, Krishna's, his deeds and excellences. Extracting it as a honeybee draws the nectar from flowers, from our benefit. Narrate to me whatever actions of superhuman worth the Lord performed in his descent when he assumed his divine power for the creation, preservation, and dissolution of the universe. Tell me when the Lord of the universe came down and took a human body and moved in the life. He has his play of the childhood play and Gopala playing with the mother Jasoda. Tell me about those stories. Tell me about how he played with the gopis, how he was all the time engaged in divine play with the pure-hearted souls of sages. Huh? 10 minutes are there. Okay, let me do another period. We can go to the question later on. Now in this response, the Sukadev The great sage, he said, that divine sage Maitreya, on being thus questioned by this Vidura, Vidura put this question to the sage Maitreya who lived in Haridwar for the spiritual good of the whole world, replied thus. Now, these are the questions put by Vidura to the sage Maitreya, and now Maitreya is now responding to the replies. 18th verse. O Holy One, you have put the right question. It will benefit all the world. It will contribute to the fame of you who have dedicated your heart and soul to the Lord. He's praising Vidura that you are holy, you have dedicated your life to God, Bhagavan Krishna. So you are fortunate, and these questions are very genuine. I will respond to those questions. And that will benefit not only you, but it will benefit the humanity. That's why we are reading today, we are getting benefit, whatever the response we are getting. This is no matter of wonder in you, who had your origin from Madhurayana, and who have by your wholehearted devotion almost captured Hori in your heart. So you are great soul, you are carrying Hori the Lord in your heart, so you are fortunate. Yama, who administers the punishment to all beings from their sins, was cursed by the sage Mandavya to be born in the world of men. You are that Yama, born of Vyasa in a Sudra woman. You are certainly beloved of the Lord and all his devotees. For at the time of his departure from the world of man, he remembered you and commended me to impart to you the knowledge that gives spiritual enlightenment. So it was already, you are a holy person, O Vidura, and Bhagavan Krishna, while leaving his body, he commanded me to relate these answers to you. Already he commanded, but you are now putting those questions. Now I shall tell you one after another the sportive activities which form the expression of his Yogamaya, resulting in the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the universe. So I'll talk about you how God, the Lord of the universe, took birth and how he creates, maintains, and destroys this universe, all the spiritual questions. In the beginning, the Lord Bhagavan alone alone existed. Okay. Bhagavan alone existed. 23rd verse. It says, Bhagavan ego asi idamagre atma atmanang vibhu atmichhanu gatavas atma nanam mat upalakshana. So he was, in the beginning, the Lord Bhagavan was existing alone. Only there is no two, no one. He was the essence of all, and he was all, everything. He, the pure spirit, was the master of himself. All that is called the many was by his will dissolved by himself. So he is the only alone reality, and he himself, by his own will, made it manifest in this whole universe. That means no one forced him. We do work under our compulsion of our desire. We do work by compulsion of our masters, where we do job, even in home or in any front of our life. We work because guided by somebody forcing me. But here, God, no one forces it. It is his own self will. By his own will, he created himself and created this universe. And this non dual and self revealing seer saw no objective. And when he was alone, he didn't see any object. That Satchidananda Brahman, who was is only reality alone. Vedanta says there's only one reality, that is Brahman, that is called Sat Chit Ananda. It is there, it is of the nature of consciousness, it is of the nature of bliss. And there is no parallel, no creation, nothing to be created. So that was the only thing. This non dual and self revealing seer means the consciousness, observer, who sees inside. In us, there's somebody seeing all these things. We call God is seated in the heart. He sees everything, good, bad, what you are thinking, what you are doing. You can hide everybody, but you cannot hide the seer who is seeing inside you. And that is called God. So he is the seer. She saw there is no object. When power and its manifestation subsided and the seer alone remained, the spirit thought of himself as non existent, as the subject has no relevance without any object. What is called Maya is the power of the witness or seer. It has got the dual nature of being in the states of cause and effect. It is that by which the all powerful one unmanifests the whole universe. That one becomes subject and object. That there is only one reality. He saw there is no parallel. So he created by his willpower, made himself divide into two. Ramakrishna gave the example. You put the water in a bucket and then put a stick. And if you see, you will see the stick is divided into two. But stick is stick. It is not divided into two, but you see like that. So this world he creates of appearance. The Lord, possessed of the power of consciousness and manifest as Purusha, cast his seed, reflected consciousness in his Maya, whose constitutes of the three gunas are agitated by the power of time. High Vedanta. So he says ultimately it is by the power of Maya, he himself, the one absolute, manifested and created this universe. So this is only one question. This is up to verse number 36. We will see next day, at 27. This is the 27 verse. We'll start next day. So we have read up to 26 verse. 3, book number 3, chapter 5, 1 to 26 is already. What's the question? Now we'll have some questions. Huh?
You will end it on
We end it here. The class is ended here. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. Now, now we'll have some questions, but one question has come. We have to see what this question and in the Kashipur garden house, Swamiji was up all night practicing and being restless when Master called him to the bed and said to him to be patient. But at that point, he had already attained Nirvikalpa Samadhi at the Kashipur house light. And he had seen the vision of Ma Kali in the temple of some time ago. What then was the restless or was it to make it his own? Like Swami Brahmananda, Swami Shivananda said, is then the ultimate goal to be restless or is to be established in Samadhi? You know, we don't understand this. What is this tremendous joy when one realizes the truth? And he got everything, yes, and Nirvikalpa Samadhi also he got it in Dakshineshwar. And also he had seen the Mother, Divine Mother, Kali, in seeing Mother everywhere. But
not everywhere. He said that he saw Mother only in temple. First time he saw Mother in temple only. Second time he had Nirvikalpa Samadhi within himself only. But seeing God everywhere is the highest part. That's what Thakur said, that you will go to the highest, better than this all these states. So seeing temple, seeing within is limited. But seeing everywhere said he didn't reach. So that is why he was restless.
Okay, that's a good idea. In Dakshineshwar, He saw mother in the temple. Okay? In Kasipur, he saw the consciousness inside. Now, there is he restless to see everywhere. So that means establish. You establish in your experience all the time being in God consciousness. And moreover, another from the term of Bhakti Yoga that you see, suppose you are so pure and you are very close to the mountain, what is called made of a, mm, which mountain? That magnet mountain. When you are very close to a magnet mountain and someone puts you little pulling, you separate your iron piece of iron. And that attraction, what is so powerful, and still you want to do, but you cannot go. Sometimes you feel in your personal life, you are thinking that I will do meditate and I have everything ready, and some obstacle come in between and that's stop. Your mind is very peaceful. You are going to enjoy the bliss, and you are trying into that, and that moment some obstacle comes. So it is a tremendous uh, attraction for divine comes, which is irresistible. And now he's talking about that. Probably he's restless to have that absolute merging into the samadhi, and not to. Normally, his whole life he tried. Whenever he went to be in samadhi. But you can understand whatever this is too high a state to understand. Otherwise, let us be restless in our present condition, not to be satisfied with what we are living for. We are talking, and we are living in the world of duality. We are living in the world of eating and sleeping and dying. Ah, let us have something higher life, and then we'll understand more. But it is good to question like this. I think he wants to be totally seeing God. Actually, I understand that. Because Totapuri could see God everywhere at the end. Uh, Seeing God transcendent, that was God within or in transcendental God. But to immanent, seeing God everywhere, that's the last word. No? I think probably that was the reason he was restless to have it. Anyhow, that is my assumption, but uh, God knows. When you are much more deep into the spiritual practice, it will come to you. Another question coming from Bill. You mentioned Mirabai. It is hard to find English translations of the Alvars. Can you recommend some good translations? Alvars, yes, I think you can write to me, then I will try to respond to you about the books available. I will inquire also. Okay? You can also try online, probably you'll find it. Okay? So, uh, anything more?
No.
Okay. So we end here. We'll have another class. Soon is 6 o'clock will be our evening prayer. And six after that, 7:30 we'll have another class. That is the Shanti Gita. We'll start that. Thank you for attending. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace to all.